evening, everyone, and welcome to PyLadies Dublin March edition. Apologies for switching from in person to virtual. Um, yes, but we still have both our speakers with us this evening, which is fantastic, and a chance to win some ebooks as well at the end of the talks. But first of all, I will go through some announcements before we get to the talks. So first of all, I'd like to thank the PSF, the Python Software Foundation, because they look after the Meetup fees. PyLadies, of course. Without PyLadies Global, we won't have PyLadies Dublin. And Coding Race, because we're streaming this through StreamYard. We're broadcasting live to YouTube, which for viewers now are at. And if you have any questions, by the way, do pop them, say hello, send your greetings, say where you're from and stuff like that, and where you were watching it from. And any questions, do pop them on the YouTube live chat. And yes, so our team, we have Lay, who's currently just will be back with us soon, probably in upcoming meetups. We have Mick, who is currently, you can't see him right now, but he is in the background helping with production and help moderate the YouTube chat, as well as popping any questions and stuff for us here to the speakers during Q&A time. And we have Andressa as well. Thank you, Michael. We have Andressa as well, who ran our Python study group. And that we had about 9 or 10 people turn up. So we want to make that as a regular event. So for those who attended, do give us feedback. We also like to get some help as well, some mentors, because myself and Michael wasn't available that evening. So Andressa was going through Fluent Python book and also mentoring at the same time. So we would like to have some extra helping hands as mentors, and we encourage pair programming, of course. We would love some feedback and also some ideas. And if you want to get involved, either helping us with our meetups and also separately our Python study group, drop us an email at dublin@pyladies.com. So some events that are coming up this month. We have something that I'm actually involved in. I'm actually co-organizing a Tech Founder Bootcamp, but this is an information evening. It's a webinar that's actually happening tomorrow morning. And then the following day, there's a Women Code Belfast, Bites and Brew Online, another online event. And then we have APNI Women's Day Meta. That's an in-person. So there's like 2 in-persons, and the very big one at the end of this week is Tech Startup Weekend, Startup Weekend Women Dublin. And that's like a 3-day event, and I'll be there on a mentor on a Saturday, and I'll be there on a Sunday as well, as a quick shout out about a Tech Founder event. I think you can double check. I think the tickets are still, the signups are still open, but you need to check the link there to see if you are interested in participating. We have an in-person event with Tech Founder Town Hall at AWS Startup Loft Dublin on the 27th. And there's another event, Women Tech at Talent Garden on the 29th. Again, just want to highlight that I myself and then input from the community, I update the diversity-in-tech.fyi kind of event listings as well. So if there's anything that's missing, anything like announcements and opportunities and stuff, do let me know, and I'll update that site. So there's Women Tech Makers Dublin. They are looking for speakers for Dare to Be celebration, anything we want to be, and it's going to be hosted by MongoDB. So the deadline is March 22nd, which is tomorrow, but the event is in April. So check out the gtgcommunity.dev/ gdg-dublin. It have all the information. They also link to the CFP as well. And also this weekend, there's PyCon Limerick. It's happening Strand Hotel, which is at like near this, it's by the River Shannon. There you can the schedule is up. You can get tickets at pycon.ie. And of course, the main event that I mentioned, the two town halls, is for this main event happening in Mansion House on May 2nd, and we do have access tickets of €5 as well. The original ticket price is €50, but for people who are on wage or and for students, we have a €5 access tickets. With any information, just drop me a mail about the event itself, and if you want to support the event. So, oh, and one more. Patch at Dog Patch got in touch with me asking to share this call for participation. It's for aim for people who are between 16 to 21-year-olds for this program, and the closing date is the 24th of March. Check out joinpatch.org for more information, and share to anyone that you know might be interested. And as I said before, if there's any kind of diversity or Python events, let me know. I'll add it, besides adding it to that website, I'll also add it to the announcements in for next month as well. And we are on social media, so PyLadies Dub on Instagram, or mostly on Twitter, and we're on Facebook as well, and on LinkedIn. And yes, we are looking for speakers from next month onwards. The QR code will take you to the form to submit your talk details if you're interested. We're looking for talks, like short talks specifically. And if you have any questions, drop me a mail about, like, if you're wondering what kind of talk topics we're looking for. So mainly around Python related or Python adjacent technologies, something that you're really interested in, like you're really excited about, like a project that you are doing as a hobby, or just curious and investigating, found a really amazing library, or you have some kind of creative tech. I'm always curious about people using software and electronics and being and showcasing the creative technology that way through show and tell. So anything along that lines, just either submit a talk or drop me an email if you have any questions about it. So, of course, since we're streaming to YouTube, we have our own YouTube channel. So do like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know when our next video will be up. So for our main event is we have Philip, who will be talking about no Meetup API, no problem. And we have, after Philip, we'll have Mansura, who will be talking about using Backstage to create your asset and template management. We will have Q&A after that with both speakers. So drop your questions on YouTube live chat, and we will pop them up for the Q&A afterwards. We'll also have, as I mentioned already, a live raffle of Mansura's book. It's called Hybrid Cloud Infrastructure and Operations Explained. There's 3 books to raffle off. So we will choose the names from people who want to participate in a raffle from those who are watching us on YouTube live, and we will use a name picker to pick up those names, and then we will wrap the event. So it's not 1945; it should be 1930. We'll wrap the event. So let's see. Our first speaker. Let's see if Philip is there. I will just have a check. Yes. We're live, and we're just gonna grab your.
I can't really hear you anymore, Vicky.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Okay,
Since Michael hasn't jumped in saying he hasn't heard me, I think I have. I have not been talking to myself with no one listening to me.
okay. Good, good.
So
Um,
once you're ready, I will share your screen and I will leave the floor to you,
yeah,
Philip.
I will share my screen. Okay,
Hold on.
should see my screen.
Yes, I will leave you to it, Philip. Thank you again.
Mhm.
I'll see you in a bit.
Yep, thank you, Vicky. Okie dokie. So my topic is the Meetup app on the Meetup API. We all signed up for PyLadies using the app. I'm also an organizer, just like Vicky, and I think two PyLadies events ago or so, we talked about the problems we have and the frustration we feel about using the app. And since I have a weekly meetup, I organize, and we have certain needs, and meetup just couldn't help. I was just thinking, okay, what could we actually do to make it a little bit easier and to use the app as I actually thought I could use the app. So talking points will be a little bit my background as an organizer, and then what I see as shortcomings from Meetup, and then what you could do using Python to alleviate the problems, and then also some possibilities for the future. So I played around a little bit, but as you will see, this is not a library or something. It's just figuring out what could work, what cannot work. So the life of a meetup organizer is very luxurious, as you can imagine. The problem is actually you want to build a community. I'm speaking for myself now. You want to use the app to build a community of people, like-minded people that meet up, but also that have maybe a place where they can go, and not only the meetup event. So something online and not in person. You want certain features to maybe let them feel included. So you could have new people coming to an event first time, and then why not send an automatic message to them? Okay, how was the event for you, and that directly in the app. So that's what I actually had in mind, but that wasn't really the case. So this year, like, bring people together to have fun by telling stories. That is actually what I do. Like, I have a gaming meetup I organize, and my actual goal is not profit. It's just having letting people have fun and be creative together. So what Meetup actually says about itself is Meetup is a platform for finding and building local communities. People use Meetup to meet new people, learn new things, find support, get out of their comfort zone, and pursue their passions together. Sounds great. Sounds really good. That's exactly what I want, right? So Meetup is a platform for finding and building local communities. The first part is, I think, correct. You can definitely do that. It's quite easy. You find lots of communities in your area. Okay, great. But the second part, building local communities, no, really not. So there's just not a lot of functionalities there that you can use for that. And that is, for me, especially the communication part. So people will communicate at a local event, but outside of that, the functionalities of Meetup to communicate, to text, to have like a forum or something, that is just not there. It doesn't exist. And what people use Meetup for, that's all true. I think that's all correct. And my goals here are I want the community, the gaming community, to have a creative output. That is in person, of course. That is as players, but also okay, they can produce stuff. Where would they put that? Not on Meetup, of course. So it's somewhere else. You're already outside of the app because there's no functionality to save files or share files, work on files or something. It's not possible. Then also the healthiness of the community, the inclusiveness, diversity, and getting people on board to maybe facilitate, or here for PyLadies it would be to have speakers. How do you get people to facilitate, to participate in the community? You reach out. How could you automate that? You cannot do that with Meetup as it is at the moment. And then also the last part is also a goal, energy creation or energy management. As an organizer, it can be very overwhelming to care about or to take care and manage dozens of people. So my events are currently around 20-25 people. You have lots of questions just 5 minutes before the event. You don't know, okay, I don't have time for that now. That is too short term. What can I do? And there's also no support for this kind of managing of individual requests also from Meetup. So what I actually wanted from Meetup was to have a toolkit to build a community. So or to have functionalities, very modular approach to build a community and to help with that. And what is it? It's actually just a search engine for not even an engine, but it's just a search for groups in your area. That's it. And then they want money for people who organize the groups. So I am a paid member of Meetup, and I can organize up to 3 groups. And you would expect that I could maybe have access to an API of Meetup to help me with that, but I don't have access. And you can see that or I will stay here for a while. We can see that on the website. On the website, they actually have a API playground, and you would think, oh, that's great, yeah, okay, they have an API. Oh, I want that, and you have a button at the bottom, and then you can actually create an OAuth client. I did that, as you can see here, put in all the details. It took a while. Had a great explanation. Okay, what do I want to do? Created it, and it got rejected with this email. Thank you, or what was it? Ivan wrote, okay, we received your application, but you have to be a Meetup Pro member. So I'm a paid member. I have a subscription, but I'm not a Pro member. And Pro then comes for over 100 euro or so. So that was not really nice. So no API for me, and that was the problem. Because here's now the app. You know the app, but I will just quickly show you what a problem is. You open the app, it's already slow, and then you go to an event, and it just takes a while. You open the event, and so I want to go to the member section and see who is actually signed up for the event. Maybe message them by hand. Okay, now I could open them one by one, or maybe have an event chat and ask them, but nobody reads the event chat, so usually I go for the direct messages. And then I type something, or I copy the text, and here you can see it here. Just a sec. Here's this the paper plane, and very often, maybe some of you have noticed it, very often it just stays gray and you cannot actually send the message. So you want to message people and you just can't, because the app is not working properly, and it's very frustrating. And the feature I wanted was message people 1 hour before the event, just to remind them, okay, we have an event, because lots of my members are very forgetful and they actually want to come, they just forget it, and then they don't show up. And that's just a little feature I wanted to have. Okay, so what can we actually do about it? Let's go to some code. So we have certain things we can access when we are logged into the website. We have an RSS feed about the events. We have an RSVP feed who signed up. There you also have the IDs of the members. You can have the CSV file of all events, or you can have the CSV file for a specific event. That would look then like this. Okay, who signed up? What did they say? Yes, okay, they are on the waiting list. Okay, so now something could happen, like people text me, oh, I won't come. Okay, and for our events it is maybe set for 20 people, and we usually need 20 people, but 25 people signed up. We have 5 people on the waiting list, and then people just say, oh, I won't come, I won't come, I won't come. And the people on the waiting list won't be automatically then signed up for the event. They just stay on the waiting list. That's a very bad design. So my idea was then, okay, I don't want that, or what could you actually do? So you have the user ID here, and if you go to the website for an event, oops, you can put people manually on the to go list, or going list, or not going list. And what actually happens in the background is it's an API call, right? So you have a simple API call in the background, and that would be one functionality of the GraphQL that you could do that to put people on there. And what you then could do with a little bit of Python code is you log in with Selenium. So it would be a browser automation. You log in with Selenium, which is, I think, easy to do. I can also share the code afterwards, but I think browser automation is not really a big problem for people. And you are in. You would need some of the cookies that are used for the API on the website, for the API call on the website. You get those cookies with your login. For example, it's the Meetup member ID, and then you can already use it. So, for example, here, this is the API that is actually called in the background. That's for attendees, and you can. I chose now I chose a bot account I have on Meetup to demonstrate it. So I say I want to put the bot on the waiting list. The payload, I got all the payloads for the different requests. So add as an event host, or put to not going, put to going, put to waiting list. I just copied it out of the developer tools from Chrome or whatever browser you use. Okay, let's say it is status waitlist, and then you can make you can use request or something else to actually make the call. Let's see if it works. It does. So we put my my bot on the waiting list. Let's check if it's actually there. For the event. Even the website is very slow. Yeah. And there it is. So, and I can change it again. Let's say it should be to going. Oops, sorry. Okay. And it's going again. So this would be one thing I wanted from the app, and you could this would be a possibility to do that. Also messaging. So messaging is something I do a lot via hand, or I did a lot via hand, and that would be something you could do as well. And the way it would work is, where are we? Sending messages. So you have your list of IDs, of member IDs, and the way Meetup works is it has this kind of format that you have conversations. The conversations in themselves have an ID, but it is a unique ID based on whatever algorithm, I don't know. So, and you don't know that one. But what you do know is your member ID. So you want to talk to that member, and you can say it's a new conversation. You go again. It's browser automation. You would go to that one, just type hello or whatever as a new message, and what you get out of it is the actual conversation ID. And based on that, then again, you can just have a request, post request, and then you can actually chat, or you have a get request and you get a JSON back from the whole conversation. And based on that, you could say, okay, based on that, you can basically have a chatbot. So you can have your own chatbot in Meetup, and the chatbot would text the members before an event. Hey, are you actually coming? Reply with a Y or with an N. Accordingly, you can say after an event, let's say 24 hours after the event, send a message. How was the event? Please give us feedback. You could do all kinds of things with this chat, with the chat functionality or chatbot functionality. What else could you do? As I've shown you, there is on the website the playground. which works with your login data. So if you are logged in, you can actually change events. So this is not only for queries, it's also for mutations. You can actually change your events or even upload images, create events. You can query the local data of location data. So what kind of meetups are in this location or in this area, and you get all that. And just as an idea, you can, of course, you could also have a browser automation and put your queries in here, put your variables in here, and get your data from there. Um, as an idea. So this was this one. Okay. Yeah, this would be one. For example, there's the mutation part, changing the event description would be one possibility. So, okay, I think I am on time. That would be it. But as a quick recall, maybe. So what I expected from Meetup was that I can actually build a community, and that it helps me with building a community by giving me tools to interact with people on an automated basis, or in other ways help me and support me with that, and it does not. So it's only the number one here, and the building part, unfortunately, is not included, even if you pay for it. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Philip. I can feel the pain. I think for anyone who's been
The
not just I
pain.
think I think not just for
Yes.
Organiser, just general using even people who normally use Meetup as well. But definitely for organisers, I can certainly I think I 5.0 something it all the time when I try to update stuff. I thought it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will see if anyone has any questions. I will thank you again for your talk. I will pop Mansura on now and see you in a bit, Philip. Hello.
Hey,
Okay.
okay, I'm
If I
gonna share my
can share your screen. Yeah.
yes. Okay,
Cool.
can you see that?
Yep, I can see it now. I will leave the stage to you. And here's Mansura talking uh your talk about the for portable with Backstage,
Yep.
and then we will see if we can raffle some of your books later on. So here's Mansura. Enjoy, everyone.
Thank you. So today I wanted to share with you my experience with how we are using Backstage to create developer portal. So I know most of you probably already heard about Backstage, but if you're not, so Backstage is an open source platform for asset and IT and all those other tools and configurations and resources that as a developer we use every day. Not only developer, cloud operations, DevOps operations, we all use a lot of asset every day, and this packages provide a very easy and quick way to categorize them or put it into like a catalog. It's provided kind of portal, and it's very easy and quick to build it. It's been a long time that Backestas is on the market, but Spotify make it open source, so now anybody and everybody can use it to create their own developer portal. So that's a bit of things. So the main problems as a developer, as a IT architect that we face in our everyday, let's say I have a team. I've just formed up a team because I have a new project, and some of my team members are very expert, some of them are maybe new to the work and all that. But I ask somebody to deploy a resource on the cloud, and this cloud could be any of the cloud, IBM, AWS, Azure, I don't care. But then the main problem comes, this person need to know certain tools, certain code pattern, needs to follow a lot of different structures, but there is nothing to guide. Maybe some organization has a documentation portal and this team member can go there and get something, or sometimes it's mainly because my team members are very nice, they will sit down with me and help me to some extent, but it's a very cumbersome process. And if I want to create something of my own, I need to go through a lot of different steps before I can finally deploy it. So obviously it's very time consuming, very expensive, and it's not possible to increase the productivity. On the other hand, maybe somebody in some corner of my organization has built the same thing and it's just sitting on his laptop or her laptop and nobody knows about it, right? So the sharing among the different teams or different part of the organizations, a lot of organizations are taking a lot of steps to so that everybody can share their resources that they're creating or create a kind of a general repository. But these are remaining became a GitHub repository that nobody haven't heard about, but there is a link in the Slack channel somewhere. I need to find out. Like, we need a one stop for all these different things, so that as a developer or as an operation engineer, I will just go to that one single point and I will find something. It should come out like a we're shopping on AWS or any other mart. That's how we should be working on, right? So that this is one of the biggest problem at this moment in any organization, especially organization where multiple discipline, and that is a story for any companies at this stage, starting from a startup to national organizations. It's very difficult to manage all these assets. So the solution to all this is that a lot of people all over the organizations, everybody is creating assets. Those are high quality, that are going through some peer review or some organizational standard and practices, and they are all going to be accessible through an web portal, which is possible to authenticate, create different identity and access management. So if I want to use one particular team that asset and not to expose, because sometimes due to security reason, maybe we don't want to expose some of the asset to the entire organization, or that something maybe only NDA certified and only few member of the team need to access them. So it's also important that this is not open for everybody in the organization, but at least we know who has access and who not. So it's a web portal managed with identity and access control, and we will go to the web portal, choose certain of the asset or templates that we want to use, and it will be connected through some CI/CD pipeline, and we will be clicking on some of the buttons or just making very minimal configuration change, and all of a sudden that application or the cloud resource that I want to deploy on a particular cloud or any environment, it could just go smoothly and deployed on that platform. So that would be a desired way of working now these days among developers, operations, any teams. It would be most desired way, where ChatGPT can give us 5 steps to deploy a Kubernetes cluster on any of the cloud. I don't want to waste my time to start a Terraform script from the beginning and then deploy it on the platform, right? I want to get in a standard what is already available and then make my customizations and move on to my next work, which may be more interesting than just creating a Terraform script, right? So with that thought, we need a developer portal. This developer portal will be our single entry point for all the different assets and resources that we need to manage. It will act like a catalog, now, not only for developer, but it also will cover all the different operation team. So we can use our tools, unify them, and different services and APIs. Maybe one team develop an API and it can publish that for the users of all other different, like the Meetup API or if a minute ago you showed that Philip showed us something, Philip will publish that into a catalog and everybody will be able to use that from their end. So that's how we want to work. We want to ensure standard and best practices. So when there is a process around your work and your configurations and your templates, and it's going through the single point and going to the same catalog, it is easy to enforce the standard and best practices, other than everybody is sitting on their own laptop and doing the work, right? right? And it's also will reduce a lot of duplications. If somebody in my team or some other team created something, I should not be wasting time on doing the same thing again. I should be either trying to optimize that or improve that, but that should be our way of working. So that's why developer portal is very important, and all the organization already have realized that they need an unified. You probably have heard about inner source, where this same concept is ongoing, that you create something where you can share all the different resources, maybe inside your organization and also publicly. So this is what a Backstage can provide you. So it will give you this portal, which is your number one. You go there, you say there is a lot of API library, there's a Spring library, Python library. These are all provided there, and you will just click on them and create those different services, and it will be deployed to your GitHub repository where you want it to be. And then also the documentation will be up and running. So you have a new service, new API, all the starter kit tool and code into your GitHub repository. Your documentation is up and running, so your team members or whoever else need to use that or integrate that to front end, they would just go to that documentation and get that. And at the same time, it's connected it to your CI/CD pipeline and monitor the performance, so you can sense that if it is working in the right quality and others. Should be a way of doing work, and once we do it, we are just going to replicate it again and again and again. We don't need to create this Python library from the scratch every time we go there, right? So that's the whole concept. And Backstage is, as you can see, it's a very smooth UI, and front end and back end, both of the things are integrated. And I'm going to show you how quickly you can spin off this application. So that's the whole idea of how Backstage is can give you a integrated developer portal that you can use for your end-to-end application deployment, resource deployment, API management, and all other activities. Those are very crucial for any development teams. So a little bit of how it looks like. As you can see, like there is a lot of different customization and lot of different template and other things you can do. The underlying technology for this is Node.js and React.js. So it's not very difficult to customize things or create your own plugins and publish them. There's hundreds of plugins already available from Backstage and all other different open source communities. And you can definitely integrate them to your application to make it more resourceful. So I think at this moment, we all kind of realize what is Backstage and why we need that. We need it to create at a speed. I don't want to duplicate the things that somebody already have done. I just want to use it for my own uses. So configure it or customize this, make it optimized, and then create that component. I want to manage it at a scale. So if I have one team in my company, I should not be bothered if I have 10 team tomorrow in my company doing the work. So they should be all integrated, and I can manage all the assets and configurations with this growth. And also it helps us to explore, like maybe some team in one part of the organization is thinking of an algorithm, but somebody else has developed in a better way, right? So it will help you explore as well, and at the same time maintaining the standard. So that's the benefits of having this Backstage. So now at this stage, I will move to a little bit of coding. So we will try to see how we can set up a Backstage application, and then we're going to configure a little bit and see how the documentations and other configuration work. Now, at any moment, if I'm going over the time, Vicky, please give me a shout. Okay, so I'm going to open my... I think it is visible. So this is my command line, and I'm going to just type a command here. So at this moment, my machine already have Node.js installed. It is 16, the version of the Node.js. So if you are creating today your Backstage application from the scratch and you're not getting it from any other GitHub repository, you would need either 16 or 18. But if you forking from any existing Backstage starter kit, you can also use 14 or any other lower version. But as of today, you need to use either 16 or 18. So, okay. This is a very simple command that I'm gonna hit enter to create my application. At this stage, it's gonna ask for a name for application, and it will start all these configurations and everything at this moment. So it's gonna take 2 to 3 minutes. While it's doing that, let me take you guys to the code. So at this stage, it's going to create all these folders and configuration file, each of them. I haven't touched any one of them here. So they will be all created. Now, if you can see inside the package folder, I'm going to have two folders. One is the app folder and another one is the backend. So app contains all the front-end source code, and the backends contain all the backend source code. So if you go inside the source, this is the first app homepage and everything, and you can see that all the routing, all the search page, and all these front-end page, these are already being just routed to my application page, and I have all the navigations and everything's already set up. If you go to the backend, this is my backend, and you see that multiple plugins are included here. I have a catalog plugin. I'll describe what the use of this one. I also have a search plugin and a technical document plugin. And there is hundreds of plugins available there. You can add a plugin by running a simple command line, and they will be added in this applications as well. Now, the most important file at this moment when you are configuring is your app.config.yaml file. So if you can see your app.yaml.config file, it will have your front-end URL. So this is your front-end URL, and it will also run up your backend application in a separate port. So this is your backend applications, and it will set up the course settings, like, so it will know that if the backend is getting entry from this particular URL, it should allow it for this following method. So that would be already enabled. Now for the database, Backstage support two different database. It support SQLite and Postgres. So I don't have any Postgres installed in my machine at this moment. So the default one is SQLite. So it's going to just spin off a memory database, and it will store all the data into that particular database. Then you can integrate it with your GitHub repository. Here, as you can see, I have given the hostess, and this is my personal access token. The reason I need this integration, because I want to create a Node.js application from the template and a repository to my GitHub account. So that is going to, for that, you need to do that integrations. For the documentation, what it does is Backstage run up a Docker container, and you only need to keep your Docker machine up and running, and it will just deploy the documentations. Those are in some of the file which I will describe you later. If you want to set up a sign-in page, at this moment I don't have a sign-in page, but you can configure that sign-in page. It could be a GitHub or the client account. It could be a GCP or Google or anything you can use as your sign-in page. Now, then this important thing is, here comes your catalog. So you need all your different component, your systems or your APIs or different resources that you want on your catalog. This could be all included here. Now, this catalog component can come from either from an YAML file directly. So see, in my example folder, I have already, there are some files already been created. For example, I have these entities YAML where I have a system defined, I have a component defined, I have an API defined, and all the different definitions of the API, who is the owner of this API, all those different kind of informations are in the YAML file. So these, when I run this application, what it's gonna do, it's gonna just take all those YAML file and will convert it into a database, either SQLite or the Postgres database, and it will store them in that corresponding database. Similarly, I will also have a template. At this moment, I have two templates. One is creating a Node.js application. So it has all the different steps, and you don't need to write this. This will be automatically generated for you. Now, if you need a template for a Terraform module, or if you need something for other purposes like a Python library and all that, those are all available online. And you can also write. These are very straightforward. Like, first you need to face it from a particular GitHub repository, then you need to register the component. These steps are very straightforward. It's nothing rocket science here. You can also add your organization hierarchy. So see, in this organization hierarchy, I have one user called guest and one user called team. You can reconfigure it in a very vast way. I will take you through that later on. And here I have added some data from a GitHub repository from Backstage, just to show you guys how it actually look when you have much data on the platform. So let me take you to the, I have the application up and running. So this will, the application will look when it comes that on the platform. So you can see that this has groups, location, resources, systems, and component. So if I go to the groups, you can see I have multiple teams here. Now, if I click on the team A, you can see that they have 4 services at this moment owned, for 3 open API services, 1 website component, and 1 system. And these are some of the people from the team of team A. Now, these whole things you have configured in a simple YAML file. And that YAML file have a object called of type group. So this is your team A group. And then multiple object of type user. Now, Brennan is a user for team A. So that's why you mentioned the member of team A. You put the user profile. You also put an avatar for the profile picture. And by just doing this couple of lines, now you can see that team A has the person, name, email address, and avatar. So these are all integrated here. Similarly, you can also see some of the APIs and how they are there. So this is an API that you have, and it has which team owns it, what is the API called, and how to use it for which component, and all those things. So this will be creating a pet store component. So you can also see the sources of the UML. So all these different APIs are described here. What are the different definition? What should be the option or value? So these are all very much YAML filation. You don't need to really write codes and other things for this, and it will automatically create the documentations and all those things for this. You can understand what is the team. I personally like this one much because it gives a clear relationship mapping, like how you can do that. You can also see it as like a view, like exactly where in your asset management it exists. So it is very small, but you get the idea. So similarly, let me show you how I can create a template. So I showed you that I have a template of Node.js application. You can see that here I have a template for Node.js application, and I want to create it in my GitHub repository. So it's owned by user guest. I select choose, and then all I have to do is give it a name. The next step is, this is always github.com because that's how I configured in my app configure. Now I'm going to give my GitHub username, and I'm going to give a portal, repository name for this. The next step is to hit the create button. So it will face those things. Now, 2 things will happen. If I click on this repository, you can see that it's taking me to my GitHub page, and I already have that. I have that index.js that is already created. I have the package.json for this. Like, it's a very small template, but I have all those functions already created for me. So I don't need to go and create it by myself. Imagine I have to go to my GitHub repo, create this repository, write all those 3 files and update them and commit them. So all these things I have done in less than 1 minute. And then this will also appear in my catalog. So if I open in my catalog, it will give us, okay, you have a new component now. User guest has created this one, and the source code is here, and all the different informations regarding this. I can also configure my CI/CD pipeline into this. I can configure an API, what should be connected to this component. I can add all different dependencies, and I can also publish the document for this one. So this is like how quickly you can configure the templates, you can create a new component, you can set up your repository, you can also manage your document, your user access and other permission as well. So I'm gonna change my, I hope it works. So the next thing that I wanted to show you guys is a bit of how to set up the documentations and others, right? So if I go to the docs, you can see that this one documentation is appearing here. And you see in my folder, I have a specific component. Now this component I have defined here. So you can see that this is a component type. It has a name, title, a small description, a logo, and also the name of its parent component. I have this folder. It is so Backstage is not all very intelligent. So you need to make this MacDocs YAML file at the same place. The reason we need it in the same place, because here I have mentioned that it is in the same directory. So it will look for this mkdocs file in the same directory. If I would give it a separate path or any different areas, it would go and look for this YAML file in that place. But for this documentation, I just make, okay, you look for the documentation reference in the same directory. So it's gonna look for this file. So if I open this file saying that I have a site name and description, you can put it as a variable and others, and you can also make sure which file you are trying to go. So you can have multiple navigation. So I just put one navigation at this moment and give it a file name. If you had multiple other navigation in your documentation, you would just need to put them as a list here in your YAML file. And then this is important, you have your docs folder. So it's gonna look for all these MD file inside your docs folder in the same directory. And inside my docs folder, I have a index MD. And this is a simple documentations, nothing very fancy. It has some of the information. So it is mainly all the information that we need when a backup and recovery service is required, what should be there, what should be our RTO, RPO. So all the different information for the platform operation team and how they should operate on that one. So with that, if I go to my docs, I can see that, yes, I have a documentations here, and I go these places, pardon this parameter name because I didn't get a chance to fix them. But so this is like a built-in template. I didn't need to do any UI or anything. It just automatically appear with this. I could just split it into multiple navigation and create two separate file as well. But for me, it works. It's not too much of content. It gives all the different tables and contents and other things as well. So, and all these things are very easily and quickly done. So for my next one, I'm going to just create another index file and put it all the content into that file, and then create a simple YAML file for the definition of the component, and I'm done. I don't need to go on all those things. So one important thing is that I also needed to add that service in my app config file. So you can see here I added, okay, so there I have one component which is in this particular YAML file. As long as I put all the links and resources, and that could be either a GitHub link or like a simple file in my repository, I'm okay. So it will appear on my portal. But if those files are not mentioned here in this app config file, they will not be imported into the database, and it will not be shown there. So that's more or less this application. It has both its front end and back end together. Now you can customize the theme. Some of my team members does not like this teal color, so we change it to a different colors than others. And you can also separate the front end and back end totally, because in some organizations, probably they have a complete separate design pattern and they want their every portal to look like the exactly same. So in those cases, you can just untangle the front end and back end, and you can deploy them separately. So that is also possible. I have published one of a blog here how you can publish your Backstage application to a Red Hat OpenShift, to all the different steps that you need to do to go through and untangle them and then just deploy it into a Postgres application, a Postgres database. So those details you will find here. So that is more or less my talk, like how you can quickly set up a developer portal and kind of create all your assets and your configurations in one place. So with that, I want to thank you, but I want to go back to my presentation a bit. So that's saying the next is, as Vicky already mentioned about my book, I really wanted to share my expertise and experience and what I felt when I was just learning cloud operation and infrastructure. There is a lot of asset available, but it is written for a particular specific cloud, either an AWS pattern or a Google pattern or an IBM cloud pattern. But the fundamental key of learning cloud or infrastructure operation is understanding the concept. If we understand the concept, like what is our goal and why we are doing this particular operation, what is the agenda here and what we want to achieve, I think that will make this whole learning the cloud much more faster and very easy. Because if I know the concept, then all the clouds are actually following the same concept. They are just doing it in a bit different way probably. But if I understand the concept, it's not gonna take any time to understand all the cloud and who are doing different certification. It's gonna be much more faster for them to grasp the understanding of different cloud. So with that thought, this is a book. I think we're gonna do a raffle for that. But that is all from me, Vicky. I'm gonna hand it over to you.
Thanks, Mansura. I'm gonna bring Philip as well, if you're there. Is Philip there? Yeah. Okay. Hello. Can everyone hear me? I know there was a bit of a Vicky dropping, people joining. So,
good.
Philip, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, any questions? So there has been, I think, there was a comment by Wolfgang. Wolf.
Wolfgang is from
Yeah.
is a person I know. Yeah.
Yeah, so Michael will I suppose I'll press on the comments, I suppose. Where is it? He just mentioned that. So appreciate both talks. And also, as we all know, as mentioning, Meetup is annoying. So Michael, do you want to pick the question? I think there's a question after this. So this for Philip.
Contact numbers, telephone numbers. I would not.
I don't know if you can collect numbers anyway, because I think Meetup doesn't allow you collect unless you are on Pro network, which I know because of PSF I get extra. I can see the extra features. I don't think they have numbers. I think they do have full names. The identifying attendees. Because they don't allow you to ask those questions if you're a normal subscriber.
I don't even have the email addresses.
Yeah.
So no numbers, no.
So okay, cool. So before we have any other questions, I was thinking, like, if people like to say yes if they want to be part of the raffle for Mansura's book. If not, we can do it another way as well. We can also do it offline. We can pick names. So we're gonna give, because there is a bit of a delay before people hear us on YouTube there, even though it's live. We give people some time to say, just type in yes, and we'll see your name. And then if there's more than 3, right? 3 books, right, Mansura, isn't it? 3 ebooks. Yes, Mansura? Is it 3 ebooks we're giving away? Yeah. So there's going to be. Oh, okay. We got 4 4 people. So we will. What we'll do is wait in a few seconds. We can put them in the name picker, which I will share my screen, and we will add them in. I see Michael's in there as well. So if I do my window, and I will share my screen in a minute. So I'm going to use this name picker, which, sorry about the garish image, but this is where I normally, just copy and paste the names. So what I'll do is, and I can't copy, hold on. Is there an easier way to copy and paste names? Or I'll just type. See, my typing is still okay. ITAGAR, yeah. Okay. Sarah B. EZ. Oh, okay. I'm gonna do last call. I think that's everyone. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Michael, you can give me thumbs up if I got everyone's names right. I can see Michael in the background. Okay. So I'm gonna choose 3 names from this, so we can all witness this. Because last time I did this, I didn't realize I didn't share my screen, but I was actually calling out the names, and it was witnessed. So I'm gonna click go. Good luck, everyone. Ooh. Congratulations, Wolfgang. I'm going to remove your name. What I will ask people to do, if you drop an email to dublin@PyLadies.com, because then I'll have your contact details. I can send it on to Mansura, and she can actually tell you how to claim those books. Okay, next person. I'll remove the name from list. 2 more. Where did it go? Oh, I can just go again, I think. Hey, Michael. See? He's celebrating in the background. Remove name from list. 1 more. Emma, congratulations. So Emma and Wolfgang, if you can send an email to dublin@pyladies.com and just mention that you won the book raffle, I will pass on both your details and Michael's details to Mansura and to claim your ebook. So congratulations. And with that, I would like to say thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Thank you, both our speakers, Philip and Mansura. Thank you, Michael, in the background, helping with the chats and stuff. And with that, is there anything else to share, Philip, Mansura?
No, thank you very much for attending us today.
I will remove this.
Thank you.
And we'll just wave bye, and we will just cut to the end screen. Thank you, and see you next month, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.